Another great tool of power is called the power of anticipation. Being able to think through what's going to come ahead. Now, you might be asking yourself, Gene, where can I use anticipation when it comes to selling? Well, think about it for a moment. Isn't it true that you can anticipate possibly the needs and wants of your prospect? Can't you anticipate what potential objections may come your way? Can't you anticipate potential competitor situations? Thinking elements through in advance is one key to the masters of the sales process. You see, they look at the future, they look at the past, and they use what it is they learned in the past to predict what could happen in the future, and they mentally prepare. This is another great element of the mindset of success. So let's talk about anticipation, and let's define it a little bit more. Anticipation comes from being able to see, recognize, and respond to patterns. So what's a pattern? Well, a pattern is when you study history and you see how something happens on a regular basis, that you can make some assumptions about how it can happen in the future. So there's three ways that you can understand patterns. The first one is this. It's called pattern recognition. That's a lot of what this training is about. Recognizing that there are patterns out there, and if you follow these patterns, you follow these rules, that you can create an awesome result. There are patterns on how to create a healthier body. There's patterns on how to create more energy. There's patterns on how to create more wealth and income. Right? You just got to study the best of the best, learn what it is they do, and do that. So recognizing patterns gives you potential power. You're going to see a lot of those in this course. But the second one is more important. It's called pattern utilization. Taking the patterns that you're learning, taking the sequences, the tools, and the techniques, and putting them into action. And I'm not talking about just trying it once and it doesn't feel comfortable, it doesn't work, but committing, having the discipline to follow through, to practice, to strengthen, knowing in your mind, inside of what's happening inside of you, that if you do this again and again and again, you model the very best, you too can create those results. So you've got to utilize the patterns that you're going to learn. You got that? Next one is this. This is where the ultimate power comes from. This is called pattern creation. Creating the pattern. Here's how you do that. Once you master this sales process and you get good at it, and you become what's called unconsciously competent, meaning this is how you sell. You don't even have to think about it anymore. What happens is you get so strong at it, you can begin to create new patterns in your marketplace. You can create new patterns with your prospect. That's how you call them, how you leave voicemails, or maybe it's your existing clients, how you follow up and follow through with them differently than anybody else. You see, the great athletes, the great actors, the great entertainers, the great business people are people that create patterns in the marketplace. They've mastered the basics. They've mastered the fundamentals. They followed the patterns of the very best. They got so good at it that they were able to follow those patterns consistently. They got so good at that, they were able to create patterns in their marketplace. You see, you can do this too. You got to go with the first three principles. Anticipate what's going to happen in your marketplace. Anticipate every scenario in advance. Write it out, practice it, drill it, rehearse it. Recognize the patterns of the very best. Use those patterns. Make them work for you so it becomes a natural part of you, and get so good at it, you can create the patterns in your marketplace. Think about that for a moment. What would it mean to you? Let's go back to your reasons why, right? More income, better livelihood, possible promotions. Whatever your whys are, it starts with anticipation and following the style of recognizing, utilizing, anticipating the patterns. Now,